Hey guys, welcome to the new episode of the Hippy Dippy Show. I'm your host, Beau Bowker.
And I'm Cassidy Bowker.
And I'm Jeffrey J.
There are also hosts. They just didn't identify themselves as such. Stop hitting. If you guys are listening to this on iTunes or Webcaster, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Then you guys are missing out because on the video version, which you can find on YouTube, we do a lot of fun sight gags. It's really great.
Tons of them.
Like a fluffer?
What are you? Sight gags?
I think I said side gags.
Oh.
Ew. God, the things you think of make me so sick.
Not just that, but it was, I believe, last episode. It could have been two, but I think it was Cassidy who said, why do we talk about certain things at the very top of the show?
She's a sicko.
I know.
You guys, I'm feeling playful. I'm feeling like an improv game is coming on.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Because that's the key to improv. It's telling people exactly what you're going to do.
Oh, man.
Every improv show starts off with, watch this.
Yeah. I'm going to go somewhere. And that place is...
You guys, today's topic is they can't all be good days. It's more of a title of an episode. Really.
Yeah.
Cassidy threw out there.
Watch. Well, here's the thing.
Oh yeah, I did.
Here's the thing too. You tend to write the descriptions. So Beau writes all of our lovely descriptions, and he tends to write them in a way that I could never write them, which is 7 days later. and and so
yeah,
it is.
Good memory.
I would have to do it immediately after in order to remember what happened. So and you don't have access to the file either. So it's not like you click back through it. You have to go from memory. So my point is, you're never going to remember that. And it's going to be titled something different.
It's going to be titled Days of Our Lives. That's what it will be titled. And now that I've said it, I will forget that.
Yeah.
But they can't all be great days. And the idea being that, look, sometimes you just have a crumb bum. Pardon my French. Sometimes you have a crumb bum type of day and you don't feel in touch with your high self or your Christ consciousness or that abundant energy that most of the time, hopefully, is fueling you and all around you. And sometimes you just feel like pure garbage.
Yeah.
I know that I do. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I think it's a good point to bring up on the show, too, because I tend to get on this show and talk about how lovely I am and all the wonderful things that I do. And not intentionally, but I guess I forget the times that I'm not great. I'm not great all the time. For sure, I'm not great. For
sure. No, that's funny that you mentioned that because last week I was thinking the same thing. Like I think we were on air, and I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if people think like I'm totally grounded all the time because I'm here to tell everyone I am not. And I don't like to speak for Cassidy, but I will tell you that she litters.
What? I would not litter.
Straight up, if you're a football fan out there, I know a lot of our podcast listeners to the Hippy Show are big college football fans. She will stiff arm like Heisman pose homeless people. They're not even looking at her or asking for anything, and she will go out of her way. She'll get out of her car, step up and go, OJ. But she's not referring to, chopping their heads off. She's referring to when he won the Heisman.
Yeah. Which is what OJ famously did, was chop someone's head off.
Yeah.
First of all, he's not guilty.
Oh my God. Is that what this episode is?
New topic.
Oh, wow. This is the
Forget
best.
that's how we're tying it in. Is never mind. I'm not gonna.
Oh God, conspiracy theories, like the idea that OJ is possibly not guilty.
Hey,
I
he's a
love it.
great man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh God, I
you don't
love it.
believe that.
I'm not saying I believe that.
Yeah.
You just did say it.
No, I just saying things. Because sometimes
Yeah.
I just say things to go against you for fun.
Look,
Totally.
you can't, this isn't a podcast where you just say things. Anyways,
Yeah.
Cassidy litters,
I
and
don't.
she pushes homeless in the face.
Yeah.
And
No, I don't.
what else do you like to do?
Constantly.
What is your point?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
That we have bad days, that we're not always grounded.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you the real facts about me, you guys, since Beau doesn't like to speak on behalf of me. Sometimes I can be really bitchy.
Ooh, just in case there are children who listen to the Hippy Dippy show. Now you
We're
have
trying
no
to learn how to
idea.
spell.
I don't really like that word at all, but it's true. I am like that. I don't know, this is why I do this work, because I'm trying to understand that aspect of myself that tends to like push away and self-isolate
Mostly homeless
and
people.
Yeah.
not like certain things and act out, and we're not perfect. We don't have everything figured out. We are on the journey. We're in the thick of it all. And we still get tripped up and triggered. We are in a relationship for a reason, because he is the person who is mirroring to me what I need to learn and heal within myself. And I'm the person who's mirroring to him what he needs to learn and heal within himself. And then it's up to him, right, to choose if he wants to dive into that stuff or really look at it or explore it. It's up to me too. And I would say at this point, 3 years into our Reverend Kathy therapy, we're doing a damn good job, but we still get tripped up. And I could give you a couple examples of that. But Jeffrey J, I'd like to ask you, what do you think about your relationship?
Oh yeah, okay. You'll hold off on your examples till I air all my dirty laundry. Let's see how bad this is, and we'll see what things I fess up to.
Exactly.
No, it's lovely. Yeah, I think this is a great topic, first off, because I do tend to be the person go like, everything's an adventure, and like things just roll off my back, and then I'll overreact to something, and then I'll forget that I ever did that, and then my partner will overreact to something, and I'll be like, why are you upset about this? Everything's fine. Everything's always going to be fine. We can fix this. And I'm perfectly zen. And completely forget the times when I overreacted about something really stupid, or maybe something that mattered that we could get past.
Right.
And then on top of that, we've got infinite stress in our lives right now, because our lives are so scheduled that every moment of my bujo right now is
Excuse me?
insane.
What?
My bullet journal.
Oh, a
Bujo.
bujo.
Yeah.
A bujo.
My bullet journal is all of these things on this. So if I'm showing you a thing, these are all things that are like massive undertakings. These are not just like little to do things. And then what's not on there are my due dates of things that I have to do. That's a separate page that's not on my stuff. So anyways, the point is, I'm super scheduled, and now Emma's she's kind of scheduled. But we're both living 100% inside this bubble of an apartment. And that stress has not made me the greatest person. And there can only be so much of saying, baby, I'm sorry, and hugging it out to where it doesn't matter, or it like not changing and saying I'm sorry only goes so far.
Hmm.
And the part of it's on both of us. There are certain things that like one of us will say like, yes, I will do that, and then if it doesn't get done, that frustrates the crap out of me because I'm like,
Mm.
my to-do list is so long that I can't add another thing to it. But then my frustration comes out. I just bottle it up, and then here's the thing that I do. You want to hear like what Jeff does? That is
Yeah.
probably the worst thing that I do. I anger, clean, and get other things done, and it's not healthy because I just add more things to look at the stuff that I've done and
Mm.
accomplished, and it is passive aggressive, and it's not good or healthy because I can say, look what I did for us, but in
Oh,
the end, I partially did it because I'm like, I'm just making myself look better. And I've come to realize that as I journal, like, why are you doing this, Jeff? Why are you doing this thing that is unhealthy and it's not nice? It's not a nice thing to do. Does that make sense? Does that sound crazy?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I just want to get a little clarity on it. So when your partner isn't doing something that you've asked her to do,
Yeah.
your response is to do more, to do that thing and then more.
Oh, yeah. Uh
You do
huh.
the thing that you asked to be done and
Yeah.
more. And
I do that. It's like a guilt trip. It is
Yes.
passive.
It's passive aggressive. It's a terrible guilt trip thing. It's like, I asked you to do the dishes, so instead I did the dishes, and now look what I've still accomplished that you didn't do. And I don't say all these things, but
right.
then you see the inside, and then I say I'm frustrated, and then we hug it out. But I've done a toxic thing. And why did I do that? I don't know. And is that crazy? Perhaps.
I don't think it's crazy, Jeffrey J. I think that you're sort of just stuck on this loop. You're stuck on this loop. You've created this reality in which you have so much pressure and you're in fear and you're in lack. And now you couldn't possibly be to blame. So you need someone else to blame. So you're pulling someone in there with you because the ego needs that too. And so now Emma's in there. I said Emma.
Oh, who cares? No, it's fine. It's Emma.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had a moment of like, God, there was a time when people used to call me Karen on your
Yeah.
podcast, and I was,
I
anyway.
forgot you were Karen. And that was before Karens were a thing.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
They,
not a cool name for me.
no, thank God for that. Imagine if we'd given you that when that was a thing and you were a Karen. No, Karen was with love. And also
Mm,
your children were Zach and Bernice,
right.
which,
but so anyways, so right, misery loves company. So now you're pulling in, your ego's pulling in someone else. And so
Mm.
I say that I do this sometimes because when I'm in that fight or flight and I'm trying to grasp 1,000 things and I'm, stressed and pressure cooker bursting at my seams, and I probably likely have written out like this long to-do list and I'm marching around and I'm telling Beau that I have all these things I have to do today and how can I possibly do it, and we can't do this ourselves and we need help, and this is going to ruin our relationship. And then I look around and there's something happening with the kids, and then I look at Beau and he's, I don't know,
Living my
at
life.
peace, like
yeah.
peace. And then I look at the kids, I look at Beau, and then I think, you should be doing this. Can you get up? Can you get up and help me and do this?
Oh.
And now I'm taking it out on him, right?
Yeah.
Then what I do, even worse, is not just demand that of him and like I'm guilting him in that moment, but then I march over there and I just do it myself
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
right? This is kind of what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
March back and he's like, I told you I would do that.
Yep.
Well, why did you do that? because I'm just in this, cycle.
Yeah, you're running away from. That's what it is. I'm running away from dealing with my own shit. I'm refusing to look inward and say, "Look, why is this bothering you so much? Let it go for now. Let it go. It's fine. It will get there. Right now, I'm incredibly proud of Emma, and I'm impressed with her and what she's doing with her life and what she's about to do with her life is the coolest. I'm so proud of her right now, but I've got so much stress that when that builds up, I'm like, you're not doing enough.
Yes, and there's also you too. I don't. I mean, I'm sure I do this sort of thing at times, but I don't like. I know for Cassidy, I love to speak on her behalf.
Yeah.
And
It's okay.
no, but like you tend to be somebody who like is busy, needs to be busy, fill my life with things, let me be productive, and I think Jeff might be the same.
Because
And
that, in my mind, I will say is synonymous with my worthiness.
yes,
Mm.
and I will say this as well. There's like this is something that it sounds like what you're talking about, Jeff. What I'm hearing is like, oh, let me make the stuff on the outside, the things I can do out here in the physical world better. And let me deal with all that and bring that into harmony instead of coming in here
Mm-hmm.
and bringing this into harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think part of it too is I'm saying, look, I'm going through so much stuff and so much stress right now. Like, look at all the things that I need right now, and you're not helping. Instead of stepping back and saying, like, well, you're dealing with a massive change in me and my availability to you
Yeah.
and in our relationship. And what do you need too? The other day, we had a moment where I had, first of all, worked my ass off to get everything done ahead of time. So I had a little space, and we just sat and talked and cuddled and we were close. And she was like, I needed this so badly. I was like, I did too. Ah, okay. And I just had a moment to think, okay, yeah. And it also was a reflection of how much things have changed. And that's a big deal for her, for anyone in a relationship. If you decide to make a massive undertaking, the other person is adapting. You have to remember that.
Oh,
God,
yeah.
this podcast is gonna finish. I'm just gonna run into the bedroom.
and turn on one of your many lights, your like different color lighting in your bed.
Yeah, and then brown, 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 brown.
Another thing is
Jack,
that
I mean, Jeff's been playing the trumpet.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you?
You ready to get sexy? Sexy.
what?
You ready to get sexy? Wah 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 wah.
Oh
Got the
God.
loudest, most obnoxious 3-note instrument to be hot.
Oh, God. You ready to get sucky?
Sexy.
I'll tell a fun story.
Yeah.
When I was in my senior year, what's that called? That
High school?
no, senior year of high school, when you're grad night. We all did like a fun grad night situation where you stayed overnight in the gym, and there were all these like cool things. We did like a Vegas, I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was. And at one point there was a hypnotist, and I got hypnotized, and like there were a couple other people getting hypnotized, and he was like making us play music, and I picked is that a trumpet? What's the one that you hold and you go like this?
That's a trombone.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I was doing. I was walking around. Anyways.
You were a high school.
Everybody thought it was sexual.
Yes,
Right.
and everyone thought it was hilarious.
Oh, I see.
Both of you please stop doing that? Good
So let's
Lord.
get sucky.
What? Oh God.
Oh, it's just a joke, Mom. Just a joke. Mom's Jeffrey J's mom, too.
Yeah.
My mom.
Anyways, my point is that, another really important thing is that why are we not communicating these things, Jeff? Why are we not communicating? Like, we're just assuming that our partners are supposed to understand that we're so stressed out, that we have so much on our plate that how do they know that they need to help us? How do they know that we're not handling this well? We just blow up on them.
Yeah, they
And
should know from that. That's how they should know. When I
That's your
explode on them.
yeah.
I'm choking because I put a little too much cayenne pepper in my cacao today. Anyways, but when in the times when I have communicated to you and the times when you communicate to me, what's going on? Or you act out or I act out, and in that moment we say, you know what, I'm just really stressed right now. I'm having a really hard time right now. And we do that a lot.
More as time goes on,
Yeah.
Reverend Kathy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We've been doing really great with that.
We have been, and yeah, but when Cassidy, like the times when Cassidy is like, I'm sorry, I've been acting like a crazy person. I'm like, oh my, what?
I say I'm sorry. I don't say I've been acting.
Oh
like a crazy
no,
person.
you told me that that was
call
crazy.
myself
Oh no, you said, because I've been like, because in my head I'm like, she's crazy. This is crazy. What's happening is crazy.
I say
And
that
then-
sometimes I feel like I must be crazy. I'm experiencing so many
No,
emotions.
she's told me before I was out of line and I was crazy. Like that was crazy. This was a long time ago when you were a little bit. um, but my point is, whether it's saying that you acknowledge that, and what all crazy means is that you're out of yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. It doesn't mean you're insane. It just means
Yes, it doesn't mean like, oh no,
yeah.
It just means, yeah, you're out of yourself. You're not in touch with yourself and you're not grounded. And anytime that you've said that or said, I'm sorry, give
There
me
we
a
go.
look.
No,
Anytime she said that I'm sorry, or like, it's less about the sorry though. It's more about the admission or the acknowledgement. It's an acknowledgement that like, hey, like I was being unfair. I was being harsh. I know that you do that a lot or whatever. That's huge for me because, and this is what I actually mean to get to. Then what it tells me is, oh, I'm not crazy because I spend time thinking I'm crazy. Like at times where like it's like, oh, like you're describing, hey, do this. Why aren't you doing this? Fine, I'll do this. And that sort of stuff. And I'm like, or I think that something's going on with you, and you're like, no, nothing's wrong. You're wrong. and then it's like, okay. And then later, if it's like, hey, I know that you're the best husband. That sort of thing. No, but when there's an acknowledgement of like that, then I feel so much relief. It's such a gift as a partner. When your partner can come and tell you, hey, I was not in my best place when I said that. I know that that's not the truth, or I know that that's not our truth, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that is such a gift for your partner.
Yeah. I will say too that our arguments, we've never been people who have, some people threaten horrible things. I had a partner who would be like, well, maybe we should just leave or end this or any of that stuff. We've never been those people, which is, thank God for that, because that's so toxic. To be like, well, maybe this just won't work out. It's more of a like, the worst that we get is that one of us will ignore the other for not very long either, because neither of us will handle that. Both of us will go, we're not doing this childish thing. We're going to deal with it, or we're going to yell Like we're
Cool.
gonna one or the other and get it either get all the emotions out
Yeah.
and then do whatever we need to do. But we do that. The other thing is we do not go to bed angry. We don't go to bed angry and we don't leave the house angry. Like that's a thing that we just don't. I've been late to work before because I'm like I'm not going to go to work and seethe all day at you and run scenarios through my head. Let's let's work through this cuz we're better than that. So
That's
that
cool.
it's hard. It's hard. I, that's why I've been late to work. But I've never been a fan of holding it inside, especially if it's
Right.
even if you can even leave it at like, hey, we really need to talk about this later, and we're not there yet, but I love you, and this is something that's really getting to me, and I may have overreacted. We've got to talk about this later, but I love you, and I'm going to work now, and it can be that, and it's been that. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely. I think that's really wonderful, Jeff. And you guys should really, take a moment to appreciate that about your relationship and your communication and your willingness and your love for one another. Not to say that if you are not experiencing those things, if you do sometimes go to bed angry or leave the house angry or have threatened things, that you are flawed or faulted or not doing it quote unquote right
These are all things that we've done.
because we
Also, yeah,
now
and well,
here's
not just that. Hold on, real quick, before also you get into a thing of defending yourself. They are all things that I have done in
Right, right,
either
right.
previous relationships or early on in this relationship. It is where we're at now.
for
Cool.
So
sure.
again, in like the spirit of this hippy dippy episode being like, look at how great I am in previous episodes, saying like, this is where we're at now.
Right,
And
right,
we still
right.
mess it up lots of times, and we've done it many, many times. But in this past year of me being sober and being completely open and honest, and both of us being in a state of growth, that's where we've gotten to where that part matters.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I think
Cool.
that's so wonderful, Jeffrey Day. Definitely, I don't feel the need to defend. I
Yeah.
I
Okay.
feel the need to um just express a broader perspective wrapped around all of this. And because I don't like there to be a hierarchy of things or to people to think that there could possibly be a right or a wrong way at all.
Or that you can even do that with your partner. You may not have the partner where it's healthy for either of you to do that because you're up for a day and a half saying, I'm not going to bed until we're done with this.
Exactly.
Or,
This is how we would be.
yeah.
Well,
We have been that at times where we're like, don't want to go to bed angry. So we keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning,
You
four
just,
o'clock, and then
yeah, you just sometimes you just need to sleep and
yeah,
have a break between it. And yeah, and I'm sure we'll get to a point where it's like, this is too big. This is too many things stacked to where it's like, we need to sleep on it. You need to leave the house for whatever reason. Go visit your parents, whatever the thing is.
move,
There's
move your stuff out.
yeah, I burned your things already, so you don't actually have to.
the reason why I say all that and why I wanted to, present it in that way, um, is that in this spiritual relationship work that we ended up leaning into with our coach, um, that material or that pathway believes that as long as two people are willing to show up and do their work, then or at least one person is willing to show up and do the work, then you can heal any relationship. And now, because of that thought system and concept that I do believe in, I have, seen people, friends, who are experiencing things like, okay, this is just an example, experiencing things like cheating. And in that relationship, because they're both still willing to show up and do the work and correct action, truly, they're still together and thriving. And until they decide that they don't want to do that work anymore or continue to show up, then, that relationship dissolves. But yeah, because of this, I don't judge others in their relationships anymore. For example, a long time ago, when I was maybe 19 years old, 19, 20, one of my best friends was in a relationship, and I found fault with her partner. And it was that typical girl thing where you're like, he doesn't treat you right, you deserve someone better. And
Guys do
if you
a version of that too.
yeah, and maybe, we started, other friends started saying things like, you shouldn't be with him, and insinuating that if you continue to be with that person, that we don't want to be your friend anymore. I've had people do that to me. I've had people do that to me in my past relationship that was quite toxic.
Oh,
And so they abandoned that, my friendship, right? They abandoned the
yeah.
friendship. And so now, with this different mindset, first of all, I understand that to each his own. Like, there are only three types of business in the world: your business, my business, and God's. And that's the path that you're choosing to walk, then that's the path you're choosing to walk. I cannot tell you which way is up and which way is down, which way is right, which way is wrong. However, what I have learned in that first example of me um, judging my friend's relationship is that relation, like, I lost my best friend. I lost my best friend because of that. We separated. That was the end of that friendship. And guess what? They've been together for like 9 years or 8 years now. They are beautiful, like a beautiful, healthy couple that has been together through so much change and transition through their whole entire 20s, now into their 30s. They have two beautiful children. I mean, it's absolutely incredible to well, I missed a large portion of it, right? And then we recently reconnected, and they're beautiful. I was only doing the best that I could with the awareness that I had in that moment and thinking that I was doing the right thing. And now, I just realized that, is judgment really the way? And yeah.
Mm.
I think we all know the answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I must have missed the point.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, and yeah, and so it's true. You really can't look at other people's and judge other people's relationships. And it's funny because that is such a thing. It's such a thing in high school and early 20s. Like, dude, like that person's terrible. Don't be with them. And I know what's best for you. And it goes back to our episode, a couple episodes ago about judgment, where it comes from this idea that you know best,
Yeah.
better, and like,
Yes.
and there's nothing that could have convinced you at that time that you were wrong, that you did not know best, and you saw this person as in a fog, and then I imagine, I don't know, and then later you were with somebody and everybody that you're crazy and that you're in a fog, and they were actually right.
Well, here's the difference. And I don't
Right?
like I don't like the visual of someone being in a fog. So, for example, that my friend in her relationship was not in a fog. Like,
Clearly.
she was willing to be there and to heal and grow, and
But
he
you thought
was
she
willing.
was,
He
is what I said. You thought she was in a
No,
fog.
I didn't think that she was in a fog. I thought that he was not willing to correct action and
Gotcha.
change.
Oh.
I think that he was willing to put in the effort and work. She for sure was.
Oh.
She for sure was. And so that was my assumption of him, right?
Sure.
Now, go to my toxic relationship in the past. He was not willing to put in the work. He was not. He was in the fog, right? I was so willing, and I just kept giving and giving and giving and giving. It was not reciprocal. And that's why that relationship failed.
Yeah. Plus, you hadn't met Beau yet.
For sure.
So, what about you, Beau? Name all your faults one by one.
I'm perfect. Well, today is the best day I've ever had. Um, no, well, I'm looking at what I've been dealing with lately is, I mean, as Cassidy said, our relationship is less and less so, but frequently triggering one another. Like
Mm.
we may have said this on the podcast before, but I've always said that my inner child constantly triggers and is triggered by her inner child. That combined with the fact that we are willing to stay present and in the relationship with our full hearts um, um, is why we're successful and why we're and why we're meant to be together. Like because as you know, as Cassidy pointed out, like yeah, we're each other's curriculum. Like
Yeah.
the perfect person to show me how jacked up I am,
Mm.
or how needy, I will say, how needy my inner child is.
Yeah.
I am the perfect person to show her how needy her inner child is. And
Or how closed off.
sure.
Yeah.
And so, because of that, and because of our willingness, again, that's the key component. That's why we are growing more and more every day, and it's really wonderful and beautiful. And we still have our times of really getting triggered. I mean, there was a time a couple weeks ago where like I was just in that place of like, oh, I'm gonna let you have it. Not like a Ralph Cramden
Yeah.
type baby boomer with
Straight to the moon, Cassidy.
but I'm gonna start saying that. Uh, um, um,
You guys sometimes embody an old sitcom. She does this, whoopah, and you go, ugh, and just roll your eyes in a way that only a black and white TV can see.
We're definitely a Lucy and Ricky, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Anyway,
definitely what I think about when I think about you and Beau. This is the farthest thing that I ever think about.
she's stuffing chocolates in her mouth, and I'm in the back playing Babaloo.
Cassidy, you got some splaining to do. She's covered in chocolate.
What did you do?
I don't want to do it.
Do it again.
I'm not that. I'm not an
Do it
actress,
again.
you guys. I'm not an actress.
Please.
That's what makes it so good.
No.
Do it.
No, she does the thing
What did you
where
do?
she kind of like like that and like rolls her eyes.
That is a pretty good.
No, it's don't patronize it.
She goes, yeah. She goes and gets Ethel.
Yeah, and they come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Chase, my Ethel.
I need a Fred Mertz.
Anyways, we're avoiding talking about
Stop spiritually bypassing.
your boss.
None. So we're doing great. Like we're evolving. We've grown so much, and I, in working with Reverend Kathy again, am working so much on my inner child, on my needy inner child, and that has been this incredible exploration that has offered such incredible tools and like learning about myself and figuring out like needs and things that are triggers that I didn't even know about, but through this meditation and this work, really incredible. But, so much of it is like being able to recognize when your needy inner child is acting up, right? And so that's what I've become much more finely attuned to. And this helps for yourself and then ultimately for your relationship, which is being able to stop, as they say in this little program, stop, look, and listen. It's the same thing for crossing the street, I think. And
Sorry, I
oh
think you just
no,
made me realize something ridiculous.
what?
I think I was I was about to make a joke and then thought of something real, which is so frustrating because I wanted the joke to come out. I think it's a jealousy thing. Let me go right back to your thing. I think my thing with Emma is a jealousy thing. I'm so organized and structured right now that when I see Emma playing, I think I'm jealous because my inner child just wants to be back to silly, playful, do games all the time, Jeffrey. But I'm being an adult right now, and I'm jealous, and that's what's coming out. All right, get back to your stuff. We'll journal about
Cool.
this later.
That's a great example for the viewers, though, of that's your inner child. Like that is being able to stop and be like, wait, what is this? Because what the inner child does, the needy inner child, is what ultimately builds that false sense of self, that ego BS. When we talk about the ego that is not your amigo, as they say. Um,
Who says that?
oh, I do.
Did you
Um,
just make that up?
no, I didn't make that up.
Oh,
Um,
God. Because that would be a t shirt tomorrow.
I've
yeah.
never heard that. I love it.
I love it too.
Um,
Very cute.
so so the needs of this needy inner child, that's what builds your ego, and what ultimately it looks like adult things, and the adult in me is pissed off because you're not doing your chores, and like, but really it comes back to the inner child that's like, that the ego was based upon, which was like, yeah, maybe in this case, it's like, oh, I just want to play, but I've been told that I'm supposed to do my chores. And if I don't do my chores, then I'm not a good boy
Mm.
and I won't be loved. And, and then what am I? Like, and I, you know what I mean? So it's gnarly and it'll make you cry. And, so lately for me, I've been, really, my mind is really busy. Like, and I'm really going to like a lot of like projecting forward into a very negative future. Like, I'm still living in this like self discovery and like consciousness and like how deep can I go and blah, blah, blah. And, and learning all this stuff about myself. But then I can be diverted and I wake up diverted, like, and distracted by these thoughts of like, oh man, what's going to happen? Like, and some of it is like, I don't know whether it's like really out there thinking or really possible or whatever. And other people are saying it. And it's like, is there going to be a food shortage? Are things going to go crazy with this election, no matter which way it goes?
Yeah.
Like, are we going to be locked down more permanently? Like, are we going to be forced to get vaccines? All this stuff. And I'm having a hard time slowing down. And what it triggers in me that I've discovered in the last few weeks is like, it triggers in me, and I'm bringing it back around. Don't worry, everybody. Um, it triggers in me these feelings of like not being prepared, not being, which ultimately leads to these feelings of not being enough. A sense of I'm the little boy who's out of control. I can't control angry daddy, like AKA, the politicians or the world around me, right? I can't control my environment. And so these are the thoughts that are like getting kicked up. And I'm waking up at 4:30 in the morning, not because of the thoughts, but because I'm waking up to do my morning ritual, my self-care. And it's really beautiful that by the end of my like cacao ritual and whatever else I do, journaling a lot of it, um, I'm in incredible peace. But then it's kind of starting over like the next morning. So this morning I woke up and, before I've even got my water warmed up, like for my cacao, I'm like in the head, projecting forward, and I'm just like, and without having to do all this like deep meditation to go into the inner child and blah blah. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this fear of a lack of control. And so that was really nice to be able to do that. And then I zeroed in even further and was like, well, I'm upset with this lack of control over the outside, but really I'm not controlling. I'm out of control internally right now, like because my mind is spinning and all this stuff. Ultimately, I sit down, do my inner child work with my cacao, and I'm going inward. And it's like I check in on the friggin' before that. I'm honoring cacao, right? And the spirit of cacao. And I recognize that everything that I honor Mama Cacao to be, right? Grace and strength and medicine for the people, I recognize as, oh, we're all one. And even this plant and I are one. And I am that. Everything that I've just honored in that thing is also me. Okay. Then I go check in on the inner child. What's that inner child doing? He says, I'm good. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, except that he's made a huge mess. He's like, I'm good in here. Finger
Nothing.
paint all over the walls. But
So
you're like, it's fine, and you close the door and ignore it. Okay, continue.
much. So then another aspect of this work, this inner child work, is you're bringing in your higher self, right? So I actually like, because a component that continues to be brought up in the work is that I do with Reverend Kathy is to check in with the high self, right? But the higher self, I bring in typically only to console the inner child. Okay, we're
Hmm.
getting there, guys.
Yeah.
And the inner child's all good. So I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gonna go check on this high self any damn way.
You
What?
sound like an. Oh, you have so many versions of you. You sound like an orderly.
I know.
Yeah. I gotta check in on all these versions of Beau real quick.
So I go check in with the high self. High self doesn't sound like a high self to me. High self's pissed, Cass.
Oh.
He wasn't really pissed, but basically, what the high self was expressing is that he's tired. He's tired of being chased, right? Tired of being chased, and meaning it was this sense of I'm constantly looking to reach the higher self. But actually, what I ended up boiling it down to is high self being being tired of being chased off,
Hmm.
not being allowed in. Me busying myself so much, holding back so much
Yeah.
of my self expression,
Yeah.
and not being willing to just sit and allow the high self, the higher self to take over. Not just paying attention to the higher self when I'm in need or when I'm in my meditation or when I'm drinking cacao or when I'm journaling. Allowing my higher self to be present more consistently. And so, what is the point of all this? I don't know. No, but my point is that it we're talking a lot about relationships and projecting, and I think it's no surprise, obviously, I think all of us know this by now, that it's all within ourselves. It's all us being triggered. It's all us avoiding our true nature of peace. Like, yes, we live in a material world where we have to do things. We have to physically touch things and get things done, and I get that. But at the same time, like, it doesn't matter. Like, so much of it doesn't. It matters. It matters. You're going to school, and that matters.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just about boiling it down to the simplest things of like, oh, I just want to be loving to my partner. I just
Mm-hmm.
want to be loving to myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean about it doesn't matter. Like Ram Dass talks about how it doesn't matter. People come to him and they're like, Ram Dass, should I get married? And he's like, Doesn't matter. It doesn't. Because you're going to continue on whatever path you're continuing on. And maybe that's a path to awareness. Maybe it's a self-destructive path. I don't know, but it really doesn't matter, this person or that person. Because you choose, you create the world that you live in. Number two, any judgment that I have about you is really about me. This is to sum up what Beau is talking about. In your relationships, when Jeffrey Day, you're blaming Emma and looking at Emma and judging Emma, you're lazy, you're just playing, you should be doing things. Who told you that you are lazy and that you should be doing things? Because I do that to Beau, same scenario, I do that to Beau. Who told me that? My dad.
Mm.
I'm not bashing my dad. He meant well. He meant well, right? By telling me to do more things and to, I don't know, not be lazy, right? In that little statement. But now the inner child has really taken that to heart and attached to that concept because I was judged or reprimanded or whatever it was. And I don't want to feel that. I just want to be the good girl, the good little girl. And so I'm going to do so many things to prove my worth. This is
Yeah.
what I said. It's synonymous with my worthiness in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to observe that and unattach worthiness to doing things.
Yeah.
Worthy whether I'm
Yes.
sitting my ass on that couch playing my game. I wish I had a game. I need a game. Or if I'm doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it is. It's not that the things that we have to do don't matter. It's that we don't need to be so attached to them. But
Yeah.
we attach to them because we have a story, many of us, I do, where my
Productivity.
thank you.
Yeah.
My productivity is equal to my enoughness.
Yeah. I don't know what what yours is, Beau. Do you know? Do you know what
Well,
your productivity, like if Cassidy's is because her dad?
oh,
I know what mine is 100%.
well, do you want,
What
what's your,
mine is that Emma is 21, about to be 22, and I drank away uh 15 years of my life and had a ton of potential, and I'm putting all of that on her, and that's exactly what I did at her age, was that, and it was fine with it. But as the wiser older, all the things I could have done, don't, this is not right, you can be so much, and you're just me kicking myself in the teeth and saying, you fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm
Yep.
always the one who drops the F-bomb on this show.
you are. I
Screws up
love
our YouTube.
We do it sometimes. I do it. I just.
Yeah,
But
I think
yeah, you're just replaying those tapes. Just hit replay, 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 and notice, observe it the next time. Yeah, we've talked about a lot of noticing your judgments. We've been saying that in a couple episodes now.
It's a big deal, man.
People write into us. I want to.
Yeah.
I want to hear them.
Yeah.
Where do they come from? Let's hear it. Like, let's do this together. Let's explore together and observe together. That's why we're doing this.
Mhm. Well, to answer Jeff's question, for
Yeah.
me, I mean, so much of my stuff comes from, yeah, just wanting to be loved and feeling like I want to be, I mean, I want to be what people admire, you know? Like that's a way that I know throughout my life. Like it's why I was so attached to football growing up. Like I wanted to be great at what people admired. And then being a comedian, I had other very spiritual reasons for being a comedian as well, and for that passion for making people laugh. But also, it was something that, yeah, people really admired.
Yeah. People say,
So,
"Oh, I could never do that."
oh my God, it feels so
It's
good.
so good when someone says, or when someone brings up the statistic, people would rather die than public speaking,
Right. Hey,
and that everybody says, and there's a moment of like, yeah, I do it.
yeah, I do that. I'm impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Admire me. You do.
Love me, and I'll go back and yell at my partner. That's this
Oh.
is about.
Well, and so yeah, so there it's like in so much of my stuff, it all just boils down to yeah, just not enoughness, and it's stuff that was passed on from my father, and it was passed on from his father, and I don't know what you like. And that's the thing. You can go back as long as you know, as long as you're aware of those narratives, until a point where you don't know the narratives, but all you need to know is that oh, this stuff has carried on for generations. Feelings of not being enough,
Yeah.
feelings of not being loved, fear of being abandoned, of disappointing people, whatever, yeah, whatever it is, of hurting people, of
Yeah.
yeah, and it just all boils down to the not
I'm
enoughness.
sorry, I'm trying to listen, but I got a scenario in my head of a caveman yelling at another caveman because he didn't bring home a big enough rock. And that's where it all started for all of us.
Pretty
That's
much,
so
man.
that's so
Probably.
funny. But here's the thing. Here's the last thread and piece of advice that I will extend is that okay, so beyond that now beyond that, now that you understand any judgment I have about you is really about me. When something comes up, when you're faced with that, fiery scenario from your partner or from whoever, maybe your boss, maybe a friend. Hi, look at this little girl. She just woke up. Hey, boo boo. Can you see, in that heat of that moment, that that person is yelling or angry or whatever it is, or upset for whatever reason, resentful, that that person is calling out for love, that that person is trying to get back to love, that that person needs love. And that's what's really helped us in our relationship when, Beau can observe me being active in quote unquote negative or heavy emotion. What is it, baby? What do you mean? You want to watch TV? Okay.
Ooh, you lucky dog. Um, well, this was lovely. I really needed this. This has been like super therapeutic, and I think, oh, poor Reverend Kathy, you are taking away business from her, cause this is just what I needed. Um, no,
Good.
I love her so much. I can't wait to do some sort of a session with Reverend Kathy.
Heck
I've been
yeah.
thinking
You should
about
have
that a
her
lot.
on as a guest.
Do what?
You should have her on as a guest.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I would love it. Air our dirty laundry.
Yeah, make her clean it.
Yeah. You're going to be our guest. That's what you should do. You should have her on as a guest and basically just get a free session out of her.
Heck yeah.
Never air it.
I like yeah. Oh, man.
Uh, well, this is lovely. And yeah, you want to take a moment and send us off?
Oh, sure. As you hear the soundtrack of the Smurfs in the background.
That's all right. This can be about ignoring some of the things in your life that seem like they're important.
Yeah, like the Smurfs. All right, you guys. Wherever you are, close down your eyes. Maybe put a hand over your heart. And then take your other hand, doesn't matter which one, and put it on your pelvis. Don't get weird, just do it. that made it even weirder. I'm so sorry, everyone. Please don't sue. But the reason why we're doing this is because with the hand on our heart, we connect to our heart. And our hand that's on our pelvis, that right below your belly button, that is your second chakra. It's called your sacral chakra. And this is where the inner child energy resides. And it's nice to have the pelvis there because it's like a pelvic bowl and it's like it's the crater, or I mean, like the cradle where the inner child, you can picture it resting in there. And so let's take a deep breath down into that second chakra. And let it out. And do two more like that. And just feel that breath being breathed in as if from your inner child. And this is you bringing that breath of spirit, bringing that energy, that light of your heart down to your inner child, letting it know that all is well now. All that has ever troubled your inner child, whether it's not feeling loved enough, not feeling like it's doing enough, feeling like that it needs to earn love. All of that was an illusion. And we understand why the inner child was tricked into believing these illusions. But we hold the inner child, cradling it in our arms, and letting it know that we can release that illusion now. It was never real. And you were, and you are, love all along. And all is well now. You can open your eyes whenever you're ready. Or don't. Just go to sleep.
Yeah. That was lovely. Thank you so much for leading us out that way. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
And
good.
thanks for this episode. This was really lovely. And I think you had a great point too. If anybody ever has anything to reach out about, feel free. We will gladly air your dirty laundry live on air.
No,
No,
we'll be
full
sure.
confidence with us, unless you want us to share it or something.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we will take that it is a personal issue, and yeah, we're here for
totally.
you as well.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what we're here for. That's part of the reason why we're doing a show like this. And I want to take a moment too to acknowledge, especially Jeffrey, for not only all the work that you do for our show, but also for being willing to be vulnerable and share of yourself and open yourself up so that not only you can heal more and but so that we can heal more and our viewers and listeners can heal more, because it does it's healing for all of us, and and obviously to Cassidy too, um, and even myself.
Yeah.
No, but I feel like Jeff is especially vulnerable at times and shared some really beautiful, wonderful things that have really fueled this show. And yeah, and I just want you to know that it benefits everybody who pays attention to this show. So
Thanks, man. It
thank
means a lot to me too. And that's only made possible. I don't want to say because of viewers like you, but because you give me the opportunity and the space to be able to do that where I feel safe. So
you.
right back at you.
Take that, viewers.
Bye, everybody. Oh God! Before he gets naked, let me stop the recording.